Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Podcast. I'm Luca.
And I'm Maria. Thank you for joining us today. If you're listening right now, maybe you're tired. Maybe you've had one of those days where everything feels heavy, your work, your studies, your thoughts. You sit down with your English notebook, look at the first word, and your brain says, "Not today."
Yes, we've all been there. That moment when you really want to improve, but you also just want to rest. When motivation feels far away, and everything seems harder than usual. You start thinking, why do I even do this?
Exactly. And that's why today's episode is called Keep Going, when you feel tired, but you still have a dream. We want to have a real conversation, not just about English learning, but about life, discipline, and what it means to keep moving forward even when it's not easy.
Because here's the truth, everyone gets tired. Even the most successful people, even teachers, even us. The difference is not that they never feel tired, but that they learn how to rest without quitting.
Yes. And today we'll share some real stories, easy English expressions, and a few practical steps that can help you continue your journey, whether it's learning English, finishing a project, or chasing a personal goal.
We want this episode to remind you that being tired doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've tried. And every time you keep going, you build strength, not just in your language, but in your character.
So take a deep breath, grab your coffee or tea, and let's talk honestly, simply, and with heart. Because sometimes, the best English lessons are not about grammar, they're about life. Before we go any further, let's talk about the meaning behind today's quote, "Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done." It sounds powerful, right? But what does it really mean?
Yes, and more importantly, how can we understand it in simple English? The word tired means you need rest. Your energy is low, your body and mind are asking for a break. For example, I'm tired after work.
Exactly. But done means finished. It means you've completed what you started. You reached your goal. When you say, "I'm done with my homework," it means the task is complete. So tired is about how you feel, and done is about what you've achieved.
That's a great difference to remember. Sometimes we say, I'm done, when we're just frustrated. But in English, that can sound like you've finished something, not that you're giving up. So next time you feel that emotion, try saying, I'm tired, instead of I'm done, unless you've really finished the task.
It's funny how such small words carry deep meaning. In life and in learning English, we often confuse tired with done. We stop when it gets uncomfortable, thinking that maybe it's not for us. But really, we just need a little more patience.
Yes, think about this. When you stop because you're tired, you feel regret later. You wish you had done a little more. But when you stop because you're done, because you've reached the finish line, you feel proud, even if you're exhausted.
That pride, that quiet satisfaction, is what pushes you to grow. Every small victory, finishing one page, completing one lesson, practicing one new word, reminds you that progress is possible.
So maybe the real secret isn't avoiding tiredness, but learning to recognize it, to rest, recharge, and return stronger. Because being tired is temporary. But being done, that's something permanent.
Beautifully said, Luca. All right, listeners, now that we understand what this quote really means, let's hear a real story of someone who didn't stop when they were tired, and how that changed everything.
All right, friends, now that we've explored the meaning of tired and done, let's bring it to life with a real story. This one is very close to our hearts. It's about one of our listeners, Aisha, who lives in Morocco.
Yes, Aisha wrote to us last year. She said she had been learning English for almost 2 years, mostly by herself. She didn't go to a language school. She worked full-time during the day and studied online at night. Every evening, after cooking dinner for her family, she sat at her small desk with her phone, headphones, and notebook.
At first, she was so motivated. She listened to English podcasts every day, repeated sentences, and learned new words. But after a few months, she started to feel tired. You know that feeling when you're not sure if your effort is even making a difference.
She told us she began thinking, maybe English just isn't for me. Maybe I'll never speak fluently. And one night, she closed her notebook and decided to stop. She said to herself, I'm done.
But here's where the story changes. The next morning, she heard her young daughter say, "Mom, when I grow up, I want to speak English like you." And that simple sentence, from a child, changed everything.
Yes. Aisha realized she wasn't just learning for herself. She was setting an example for her daughter. She said she opened her notebook again, even though she was still tired. She decided to study for just 10 minutes that night, not an hour, just 10 minutes.
And that's what she did. 10 minutes every night. Some nights, she repeated the same sentence 5 times. Other nights, she just listened quietly. But she didn't stop.
After 6 months, she sent us another message. She said she had started using English at work, writing short emails, answering phone calls, even translating simple documents. She said, Luca and Maria, I'm still tired sometimes. But I don't stop when I'm tired anymore. I stop when I'm done.
I love that so much. Because Aisha's story isn't just about learning English, it's about life. It's about the small steps, the quiet nights, the moments no one sees.
Exactly. Progress doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's invisible. But every minute you keep going, you're building something powerful.
So if you're listening to this and you feel like giving up, remember Aisha. You don't have to move fast. You just have to move forward.
Yes, one word, one sentence, one step at a time. That's how we grow. You know, Luca, sometimes people think motivation is like a light switch. You turn it on, and suddenly you're ready to run a marathon, clean your house, and master English in one day. But real life doesn't work like that.
Exactly. Real life is messy. You wake up tired, your to-do list is long, and sometimes you just want to say, not today. Let's be honest, everyone has those moments. Even we do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about those everyday battles, the little fights we have with ourselves. For example, when your alarm goes off early because you promised to listen to an English podcast before work. Your brain says, just 5 more minutes. But that 5 minutes often becomes 30.
Oh yes, that happens to me too. Or when you sit down to study and suddenly everything else seems more interesting, cleaning the fridge, checking your phone, scrolling through social media. It's like your brain is searching for an escape route.
Exactly. Because deep down, our brains prefer comfort. They don't want challenge or effort. But here's the truth: progress always lives on the other side of discomfort. Whether it's learning a new language, exercising, or finishing a task, the real victory comes when you do it even when you don't feel like it.
That's the secret battle no one talks about, the inner conversation. Should I stop? Should I continue? That small moment decides everything. It decides whether you grow or stay the same.
And the thing is, most victories in life don't look like big fireworks. They're quiet. Like choosing to study for 10 minutes even when you're tired. Or finishing washing the dishes before going to bed, even when the sofa looks so inviting.
Yes. Those little decisions build confidence. They tell your brain, hey, I can do hard things. And that belief that you can changes everything.
Let's make it practical for our listeners. Think of one small battle you face every day. Maybe it's staying focused while studying English, or completing your daily exercise, or simply speaking up in a meeting. What if, just for today, you decide not to stop when you're tired, but when you're done?
That shift in mindset is powerful. Because you're teaching yourself consistency, not perfection. And consistency, not motivation, is what creates real growth.
I love that. Consistency is quiet. It doesn't shout or sparkle. But one day you wake up and realize you're better than you were yesterday. You've built something strong, one small decision at a time.
So yes, we all face daily battles. But every time you choose to keep going, even just a little, you're winning. You're moving closer to done.
Beautifully said, Luca. So next time you face that moment of tiredness, remember, comfort feels good now, but completion feels better later. Let's be honest for a minute, Luca. Quitting is easy, sometimes too easy.
You're right. It's easy because stopping gives us something that feels good instantly, relief. When you quit, the pressure disappears. No more struggle, no more discomfort. Your brain says, finally. Rest.
Exactly. It's our human instinct to move toward comfort. Our brains are wired to protect us from pain or effort. That's why the sofa feels more inviting than your English workbook, or why scrolling your phone feels easier than practicing pronunciation.
Yes, it's not that we're lazy or weak. It's biology. The brain wants pleasure now, not progress later. That's why so many of us give up on our goals halfway. We think, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week.
And the danger is that every time we quit, we train our brain that giving up feels better than pushing through. We create a habit of escape instead of a habit of effort.
Exactly. And when that happens again and again, we start believing false stories about ourselves. I'm not disciplined. I'm not good at this. I can't do it. But those are not truths, they're just results of practice and quitting.
That's such an important point. The act of quitting rewires our confidence, just like continuing does. Every time we choose to stay, even for 5 more minutes, we're teaching our brain something new, that we can handle discomfort, that we can finish.
And that's why awareness matters. If we understand why quitting feels easy, we can pause before doing it. We can ask, am I actually done or just tired?
That little question can change everything. Because sometimes, all you need is a short break, not a full stop. A breath, a sip of water, a stretch, and then back to work.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware of that invisible moment, the one where you decide to quit or continue.
So, if you've quit before, don't feel guilty. Just notice it. Learn from it. And next time, maybe push just 1 minute longer. That's how progress begins.
All right, Maria, we've talked about why it's easy to quit and why it's important to keep going. But let's be practical now. What can our listeners actually do the next time they feel like giving up?
Yes, this is where we build our game plan. Because motivation is not magic, it's strategy. If you want to keep going when you're tired, you need tools.
Exactly. So, let's break it down step by step. The first step is something simple, but powerful. Remember your why.
Yes. When you feel like quitting, your brain focuses on the pain of the present moment. I'm tired, this is hard, I'm not improving. But when you reconnect with why you started, maybe to get a better job, travel abroad, or talk with friends confidently, you shift your focus to the bigger picture.
Right. Your why gives meaning to the effort. It turns I have to into I want to. So write it down somewhere visible, your notebook, your phone, even your mirror. Because when your energy drops, your purpose reminds you to keep going.
Perfect. Step 2. Make it smaller. Many people quit because their goals are too big. They look at a huge mountain and think, I'll never climb that. But what if you just focus on one step, one word, one page, one lesson?
Yes. Instead of saying, I'll study English for 2 hours, say, I'll study for 10 minutes. 10 minutes is manageable. And often, once you start, you end up going longer. The hardest part is just starting.
Exactly. Step 3. Reward yourself. Humans respond to rewards, it's how our brains are wired. So, plan something pleasant for after the task. It doesn't have to be big, a cup of coffee, your favorite song, or 5 minutes of rest.
That's a great one. Because when you attach a small reward to effort, your brain begins to associate hard work with positive feelings instead of exhaustion.
Yes. Step 4. Track your progress. Progress is the best motivator, but it's easy to forget how far you've come. Write down small wins. I learned 5 new words today, or I spoke English with confidence. These reminders are proof that you're moving forward.
That's so true. I remember when I was learning Spanish. I used to feel frustrated because I wasn't fluent yet. But when I looked back at my old notes and saw how much I'd learned, it gave me energy to keep going.
Exactly. Sometimes progress is invisible day to day, but very visible month to month. You just have to look back.
Step 5. Accept that tired is part of the process. People think being tired means something's wrong, but it actually means you're growing. Your brain is stretching, your comfort zone is expanding.
Yes. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's proof that you're doing something meaningful. So when you feel tired, don't fight it, acknowledge it. Say, I'm tired, but I'm still capable. Take a short break, then return.
That's powerful. Step 6, and maybe the most important one, have an accountability partner. When someone else knows your goal, a friend, teacher, or even a podcast community, it becomes harder to quit.
Right. You can check in with each other, share your progress, or even study together online. Support turns effort into teamwork.
So, let's recap the game plan. Remember your why. Make it smaller. Reward yourself. Track your progress. Accept tiredness as part of growth. Find accountability.
That's your survival kit for tough days. You don't have to be superhuman, you just need small strategies that help you move forward.
Exactly. Because success isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something consistently.
So next time you want to quit, take a breath, look at your plan, and remind yourself, you've got this. You've done hard things before, and you can do them again. We've talked about what it means to feel tired, to face challenges, and to push through when quitting feels easier. But before we close today's episode, we want to remind you of something simple: you're not alone in this journey.
That's right. Everyone who's ever achieved something meaningful has faced moments of doubt and exhaustion. The difference isn't talent, it's persistence. It's choosing to show up again, even when it's hard, even when progress feels invisible.
And maybe today, you needed this reminder that being tired doesn't mean you're failing. It means you've been trying. It means you're growing, learning, and moving forward, even if it's slow.
So, here's our call to action: don't wait for motivation. Take one small action today. Study one new English word, listen to one podcast episode, or write one short paragraph in English. Because every small effort adds up to something big over time.
Exactly. Growth is built in quiet, consistent moments. The days you keep going, even for just a few minutes, are the days that define you.
So, take a breath. Stand tall. Remember your why. You're stronger than you think, and your progress, no matter how small, is worth celebrating.
Thank you for spending your time with us today on Learn English with Podcast. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.
And remember, don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.